Hello, everybody. Welcome to the tarot readings by Zodiac sign for the month of June 2025. We have a whole bunch going on right now in the world in general, so that might become a theme in this. But I am going to pull 3 cards for each sign for the month of June. And you can look at the cards that are pulled for your sun sign or your ascendant or your moon sign, whichever you feel most calm to you, or you can also look at all 3 of them. So the deck that I'm using today is the Morgan Greer deck, and as you can tell by the box, it's one of my workhorses that I use a lot of times when I'm doing tarot kind of on the road. And usually when I start my tarot readings, I make sure to, number one, tell you it's from your perspective, not mine. So what's reversed for you is going to be reversed for you, and I will read it that way. Also, I call in your spirit guides and angel team and my spirit guides and angel team to help to make this reading very easy for you to understand, full of practical advice and information so that you can use it to improve or better yourself in the long run. So we're going to start out, of course, with Aries today. So if your birthday falls between March 21st and April 19th, these are your cards. So I always say interesting. Let's see where these are at. Okay. New setup. So I'm working on that too. Okay, what we have is the 6 of Wands, the Hermit, and Judgment. So right in the center of this, we have the Hermit, and that tells me that you are going to be looking for wisdom and information within yourself. So sometimes you have to take a break, take a little step away from everybody else around you so that you can really connect with your center, find your own way in life, and use that information to guide you. Now, sometimes the hermit can be somebody who guides other people as well. So don't be surprised if other people are coming to you for wisdom and guidance, encouragement, and things like that. But also, I don't want to say don't make it too easy for them, but make sure that they're doing the work as well. Then on both sides flanking here, I always read that as like the central card, the center theme, and then, influencing factors. So we do have the 6 of Wands, which is a moment of public recognition for a job well done. And you may have been working hard, you may have been putting yourself forward. And so finally, somebody is going to give you that pat on the back, which is interesting when you pair it with the Hermit, because there is going to be this feeling of finally getting perhaps the accolades or the recognition for things that you've done, wisdom that you've shared with other people. And all of this might be all of this might become fodder for more introspection, for more forward thinking, though you have the judgment card reversed. So it might feel a little bit off-putting because you might not be able to take all of the information that you've had before in order to put it to a new plan. Now, that might be the whole theme of this reading. So you have this public recognition for something that you've done well, and you need to digest that in order to move forward, because in order to move forward and to best use this information, you need to be able to have processed it and extracted all of the good meaning from things, all of the good things that you did in order to gain the success that you've had. So you're going to have to focus on figuring out what that is so you can use it in order to go to the next step. I'm going to reshuffle between all of these signs so that each zodiac sign has the opportunity to have the same amount of possibilities come up within their reading. So now we're going to go on to Taurus, and that is for, you know what, instead of doing the birth date range, I'm going to just assume people know what their zodiac signs are. Let's bring this back here a little bit so you can see it. Right in the center of this, we have the Nine of Swords. And in this particular image of it, reminds me more of the Eight of Swords than the Nine of Swords in the deck. But anyway, so it is going to be a challenging month for you, mentally speaking. You might have a lot of stress. You might have a lot of things that are keeping you up at night. And from the King of Swords influencing this, it might be something that you need to seek guidance and advice for. Like, this is something you can't handle on your own. So you need to seek out not only a mentor, but somebody, if you need a lawyer, if you need a doctor, if you need somebody who is farther advanced than you are in order to figure out what's going on. Things are just going to move slowly at this point in time. This is the Eight of Wands reverse. So don't expect great leaps forward right now. Focus on what you can do to get some sleep at night. Focus on finding somebody. And this could also mean that from this higher perspective of having a lot of knowledge at hand, that you need to make a decision with that knowledge, and you need to make sure that you are seeing things from the highest perspective in order to move forward. And this is going to cost you sleep in the long run. So sorry, Taurus, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a stressful month for you. But like I said, if you need to seek out a mentor or somebody who has more information on the subject than you do, that might be a good idea for you to do. Now let's go ahead with Gemini. We just had a new moon in Gemini the other day. We are going into that chatty mercurial energy. Ooh, but it looks like, ouch, it looks like something of a month for Gemini. And this is also a swords heavy, so it's a lot of thinking, perhaps overthinking what's going on, and not really fully getting in touch with your own intuition. When the High Priestess is upright, she's totally settled into her intuition. But when I see it reversed, I see this disconnection from intuition, secrets, and sometimes it's not being fully completely honest with yourself and allowing your intuition to help you out in these situations. And I also feel that there's something going on in your life right now that really you're having a hard time getting away from. And this could be in consideration of like gossip or drama that's been going on around you that you really wanted to leave behind you, but unfortunately you're not able to do. So Gemini, might I suggest that you take a step back, a deep breath, understand what kind of influence your thoughts are having in this whole dynamic situation, and try to reconnect with your intuition so that you can make these strides forward, so that you can get over the 10 of swords, backstabby, overkill kind of situation. What do you need to do in order to move forward from this and put all of this fear, insecurity, or resentment, frustration behind you? And your intuition is going to play a big role in that. So now we're going to go on to Cancer. So that's my ascendant. I will too, actually. So a lot of times when I'm reading cards for people, I am shuffling, and when I'm shuffling, I'm looking at the cards that I pull up in between. And sometimes those filter into the readings that I do, and sometimes they do not. For Cancer, interesting. What's going on here, Cancer? So right in the center of this is this card of addiction, codependency, being tethered to something that you feel like you can't get away from. And so what do you need to do? What do you need to witness within yourself, or what kind of addictions are you feeding with your behavior? Now, this could be in terms of relationships. So I also consider the Devil card to be a card of codependency and in some ways that sexual dependency that people have within their relationship. And the reason I'm saying it's with a relationship is because of the Two of Cups here. And I also feel like right now is time for you because you have the Five of Swords, but it's reversed. So what kind of information are you processing? Have you actually won the war? How can, like, when I see this upright, I say you won the battle but lost the war. But perhaps you feel like you lost the battle but won the war within this. So, what kind of outcome are you hoping for? What are you addicted to in terms of behaviors, in terms of relationship dynamics that you need to take into consideration so that you can finally think that it's not a good win in certain circumstances, but it is a win. You're getting over this double card but the devil is there. So in the center of things, what are you tied to? What are you allowing yourself to continue doing that feels like a compulsion in terms of love? And sometimes these compulsions can become our strengths. And this is the card I put to the side. And I'll just say, there's been this whole dynamic, and I want to talk about this in a later conversation, but of caretakers and people who are givers. Like a lot of people who are givers, I consider myself one, give a lot and they consider it to be their strength. But it can also be a downfall when it becomes codependency. And so, what you have to do in this situation, Cancer, and the reason I feel that this is a part of the dynamic is you have to consider what are your strengths and is the act of giving something that you want to continue on with because you feel like it's something that actually leads you to the end result that you were looking for, even though in some circumstances and situations it felt painful or you felt compulsory or you felt obligated or you felt like things were in a space of overgiving and being obligated to give to other people. But I feel like that considering Cancer and considering their tendencies, their characteristics, giving is a plus or a positive in their life. And if they're being taken advantage of, then it becomes a negative in certain circumstances. But ultimately, Cancer, you're the one who's in charge and you're the one who knows how you feel about how you've acted in your life. And so sometimes you have to take that into consideration. That was a little bit of a rambly little thing, but I just feel like in that reading, Cancer is a giver and they can lean into that giving even if it feels obligatory or they feel compulsory. It is something that actually helps them in the long run to feel good about their actions. So we have Leo now, the lion in the zodiac. They got something similar to, I think it was Gemini. These cards have come up. Anywho, this month, Leo, you are going to be taking a deep dive into your intuition and looking at things from a very deep perspective. And I say, go ahead with that. But again, like in that other sign that it came up for, this is probably going to cause you, it's going to be a mental, not a mental challenge, but a puzzle that you're going to be working through in order to bring balance and harmony into your life. I feel like right now, especially in terms of finances and things like that, you might actually be presented with a new possible business venture or something like that, we also have 2 2s here, which is showing me that there are going to be options and possibilities for you this month, Leo. And what you want to do is to make sure that everything is going to stay balanced. And that is going to be one of the keys for you, is maintaining that balance while you allow yourself to do this deep exploration. And sleepless nights, worrying, things like that might be what drives you to this need to explore and connect with your intuition more fully. So if your intuition guides you to something this month, Leo, do a deep dive and make sure that you maintain your balance on the material plane, because that's always important. That's another conversation that I want to have in the future. Is a lot of times we're like focused on connecting with spirit and being in our heads and everything like that, that we're not grounding ourselves. We're not conscientious of our physical material needs and desires. We're going to go ahead with Virgo now. It's a big month for Virgo. It's on the one hand, I can feel like things are going to feel a little bit unsettled and you're going to be less secure about creativity, how you're presenting yourself in the world, the way that you capture your fire, the essence of yourself. What's interesting, though, is it's flanked by 2 really positive cards. So the sun showing that, and perhaps the sun might be casting a shadow onto your self image. And so all of these good things are going on in the world, and you're like, why don't I feel better about things if there's so much positive energy around my life? And I understand, like, it might be a full, you're like, it's not just about me and my life, it's about the whole world and what's going on there. Lean into your strengths. Like, now is the time for you, Virgo, to capture your power. Do things that make you feel more powerful, because especially right now with this reversed Queen of Wands or Queen of Rods in this, you are going to need to lean back into discipline, focus, good habits, not chasing shiny objects. Really lean into what makes you feel better about yourself and about the world around you. Because if you don't do that, it's going to be very unsettling. You're going to feel unsettled to begin with. So why not do things that make you feel good about yourself? So that's going to be the challenge for you this month. Virgo is to ground back into yourself, figure out what habits feed you, what habits drain you, and go more with those that feed you than with those that drain you. I feel like that's a message for me too. Libra, let's go ahead here. And I have to get back to go with my friend Alexandra, because when we do like the overall general zodiac and the cards, it goes so well together. So this month for Libra, you're going to feel like a little bit like perhaps the floor has shifted a little. Oh, and I really feel like this is in terms of your workplace, because the surrounding cards are the Magician reversed and the 10 of Rods reversed, and then also 3 of Pentacles reversed. Could be towards work, could be towards your feeling of groundedness. And I feel like this almost is akin to what we've said about Virgo. But anyway, for Libra, you might feel like you haven't been able to fully get into a work routine, show up with your very best self. And it just seems like there's really blocked energy this month for you. Everything came up reversed. So feels like the energy is blocked. Your manifestation powers, you're just like, Why isn't this working in the way that it was before? And it could just be because, I hate to say it, but you might have set down all of the things that were, sometimes you have to set things back or set them down in order to reorganize your workload and do, like, how am I spending my time? Is this time I'm spending having the most impact in my life? Am I just spinning my wheels? Because this is what it feels like here. It just feels like the energy is gone. You don't necessarily feel motivated to do what you need to do. And so therefore it's just evaporating around you. So Libra, seeing this, how can we turn it all around? How can we turn this into a positive? How can we get you back into a place where you're feeling confident and capable and in charge and like the ground is very solid under your feet? Bring your best work to the table, put your best foot forward, join teams and groups that are going to help you with not networking, learn new things, learn new people, explore different avenues and things like that. And then also, that's going to help with your motivation and manifestation. And also, it's going to help you to more fully integrate the workload that you have in front of you. It's going to be definitely a challenging month, I feel like, Libra, but it's also going to be an opportunity for you to really take a good look at what you're doing and if what you're doing is just spinning wheels or if it is actually moving you forward. And then make decisions for the rest of the summer or the rest of the year based on that. Okay. So now we're going to go into Scorpio, which is my sun sign. You will. So what can I expect for the month? Okay, at least we got the Queen of Pentacles upright. So the Page of Pentacles reversed feels like there might be a new area of study or something that I want to do in terms of education that's not going to move forward in the way that I had hoped or expected. And again, I see a lack of hard work and effort there, a lack of focus. And, what's interesting, all three are pentacles. So it is going to be a month where the primary focus for me is going to be on earth, external, foundational health, well-being, education, money, career, calm, things like that. Ultimately, yay, at least I have the Queen of Pentacles who's upright, and I feel like she is and she's looking over these cards, if you could see. So the way that this looks to me, I know my son is sick right now, and I also understand that he is like going to be trying out for a new school at the end of the month. So I have my fingers crossed and everything about that. But there's this energy of things not moving forward, things not progressing as I had hoped. At least I am going to be able to center and ground my energy as I am helping with this, Scorpio, as you are helping with this. Take a look at how does this fit into your life? Do you need to put more focus and emphasis into the things that you're doing? Do you need to do some leg work or lay foundations in a very strategic way in order for this new area of life to be able to take root? The Page of Pentacles upright can also be a young child who is in its new education, or children who are in their educational role, shall we say, who are pursuing education. With this, I'm all like, ooh, especially with my son doing what he is doing, will that necessarily work out for him? Do I need to make sure that he is being more focused, especially in terms of his education? And is it the right time, Scorpio, for you to pursue something new? Have you not applied the past things that you've learned? Like, this is what's coming up as have you not applied the past things that you've learned seriously enough to be able to say that you fully integrated these lessons? This could be also in terms of a work related strategy. I could say for myself, sometimes what to do, but instead of doing that thing, then you end up doing something else, chasing the shiny object, taking the next course. Is it time for you to sit down and sit back and bring in that energy of the Queen of Pentacles? And instead of being all in your head or all in your heart, you sit and ground yourself into a strategy based on what you've learned before, so that you can use that information in order to move you forward. That all came out of there after the fact. So, especially for Scorpio this month. So now we're going to move on to Sagittarius and see what is going on for the Archer this month. So, King of Rods reversed. Even though you don't feel so motivated at all, or there might be somebody in your life who's a stick in the mud, stealing your motivation. And watch out for this person, because they might feel you might end up feeling very claustrophobic and unmotivated in this month, which is interesting because this is the card too of not only getting everything you wish for, everything you desire, everything you want, but he's also overly satisfied. Did you overdo it to point where you're having trouble, like you're so bogged down and overburdened and heavy that you're having trouble finding your motivation in order to move forward? And through this tea, or this feeling of satisfaction in the moment, that it's stifling. And for Sagittarius especially, I can see how this would be like a conundrum, because Sagittarius is always moving. They're doing things. How should I say this? I feel like once they get one idea, it takes them to the next idea. They're really free flow and everything like that. So getting to this point where you're just like, okay, I'm full. It's taking my motivation and it feels restrictive. That's how this can be a negative. So that satiety, that feeling of I've got into a point where full up, it's almost overfull. It's almost a burden. It's keeping you locked and trapped. And also keeping you from being able to envision what comes next. And I really feel like for Sagittarius, that's that where they would feel stifled and everything. Ultimately, though, what you need to do is realize that this whole thing is all in your head, and you can use this point of success and self-satisfaction as like a basis for exploring what comes next. What is next for you? If you're full from this, how can you up level? What is the up level for you? Do you need to find motivation, or at least cut out whatever unmotivating factors there are in your life so that you can then go on to your next adventure? That is what I think Sagittarius has to work on this month. And consequently. So then we have Aquarius and Pisces, and then we're all set for the month of June. And if there are any kind of special tarot readings that you are curious about, just pop them in the comments below and let me know. Also, let me know if the reading resonated with you. So we're going to move on to Aquarius. Knight of Pentacles reversed. Interesting. So we've got the Page of Rods, we've got the Knight of Pentacles reversed, and then we have the Six of Rods here. A really interesting person. You might meet a new person who like creates a spark within you, who is, or you might have some kind of new creative passion that enters your life. So if you learn a new skill or you see something and you're just like, wow. So watch out for inspiration or inspirational people to come into your life. I feel like right now with the Knight of Pentacles reversed here, like you're ready for something new and exciting with this breath of fresh air. And there's also this little, might be a person in your life who, who you thought was stable and secure and comfortable, who turned out to be anything but that. But ultimately, this is going to, while you might be thrown off guard, you are going to end up in a positive place from this. Through this spark of energy, you're going to find new creativity. Things are going to come untethered from either somebody who is really heavy on, there's stable and there's heavy. And so right now it might be bringing this new light into your life, bringing this new experience, this new creativity, this new spark of passion into your life in a way that feels like it's going to be victorious to you. Even though right in the center of this, like there is this element of movement, of change, of inconsistency. And this might be within a person. This might be somebody who you just say, I've had enough of the inconsistency. I've met somebody new and I'm ready to move forward with life. It also could be, what's the word? Connecting with an aspect of yourself that has been weighing you down, has been overly heavily. And so sometimes it is that kind of stability and strength and peacefulness that gets uprooted and destroyed. Perhaps somebody who you thought, as I said before, was super stable, grounded, a good friend, actually wasn't that to you. And so now you're exploring new ideas, new ways of doing things. Could also be in terms of projects and things that you do, but it could also be relationships around you and turning that stale, stagnant energy into something that's much more inspirational. So interesting. I have to see about the Aquariuses in my life and what they say about that. So then we're going to end up with Pisces. And this is the last sign of the zodiac. And this is the tarot reading for the month of June. Okay. Sorry, Pisces. It looks like this month, ultimately, the Five of Pentacles reversed isn't the worst card because when you have it upright, it just means like you have to look inside of yourself for sanctuary. But when I see it reversed, it does look like, number one, you might feel like you can find sanctuary in other people, and other people's support is going to help you this month. You're not going to feel like you're alone at all, but it's also going to feel a little bit unfair in some ways and unknown. You can't necessarily, what you were looking for in the past, what you were looking for in terms of finding solitude and finding security with in your world is going to change and it's going to feel unfair. It's not going to be anything you can look into your past experience, or Pisces loves nostalgia. They love, that old energy of what's happened before in life. And for some reason this month, you're not going to be able to connect with that nostalgic thing. Things are going to change and they're going to change rapidly. And so you may have before looked into yourself to find the stability and support and guidance, or you might have trauma bonded with other people for that shared sense of I feel counterculture and you feel counterculture. So together we can be something without necessarily needing that dogma or that outer help. But this month you're going to need it and going to feel a little bit ungrounding for you. Pisces, if you need help, ask for it. If you feel alone, seek out company. Even if you feel like it's unfair that you have to be the one to reach out or you have to be the one to connect with others, it might be the month for you to do that because, and yeah, like I said, it might feel unfair, but this month you're going to need the help of other people. So take that into consideration. Don't let yourself be too proud to accept help from others this month, Pisces. With that, I hope that these tarot readings for the month of June for each zodiac sign were helpful for you. Please leave a message in the comments. Let me know if what came up for you for this month hit, or if you feel like completely, oh, that just didn't do it for me at all. Because that kind of feedback helps also. I'm not one who's like averse to feedback. I'm not one that's not willing to look at the cards from a completely different perspective. If somebody says, oh, actually, I saw it for me in this way. What part of my whole thing is that I'm a certified transformational life coach, and I like to use tarot cards as like the starting point of a conversation. I like it to be a conversation and not a monologue about what's going on in a person's life coming from me to my client. I like to have that conversation where the client is looking at the cards at the same time as I am looking at the cards, and we're both sharing our insights and input to help my client reach the next level. So if that's what you're looking for in a tarot reader or life coach, if you want a life coach who works with crystals and angels and tarot and scents and things like that, then I'm your girl. So I will talk to you soon. Hopefully I'll be doing these once a month and then different card readings in between, teaching tarot. Let me know what you're looking for. I'll probably make a video about it. Take care. Talk soon. Have a great day and a great month of June.